Hiya guys, my name is Kat and I moved to UK when I was 14 years old. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about culture shocks. They were culture shocks to me when I first came here 19 years ago. So I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. I was born in Azerbaijan, so I lived for the first 4 years of my life in Azerbaijan, Baku, and then I moved to Russia for 10 years, and then I've been living in England for 19 years. So what my comparisons will be, what I will be talking about, will be kind of a mindset of a 14-year-old first of all, and second of all, I lived in a small town in Russia. Russia is massive, is gigantic. We moved around a lot in Russia, but the last place where we lived was called Zernograd, and it's a small town in the Rostov-on-Don region, kind of southwest, close to the Black Sea. And so my experiences will be kind of comparing that town, that life, to kind of England. The reason why I thought of this video is because yesterday I went to the swimming pool, and I thought to myself, hey, in England, whenever you want to go to the swimming pool, you just go. But in Russia, if you want to go to the swimming pool, you have to go to the doctor, you have to get a doctor's note, just basically confirming that you don't have any skin diseases or any kind of diseases that you're gonna pass on to other people. And I thought to myself, that's quite different, and there's loads and loads, there's hundreds, thousands of things which are different between Russia and England, and I thought maybe it's something that you might like to hear, it might be interesting to you. So the swimming pool is the first thing. The second culture shock, well, I'm not going in chronological order, of course, I'm just going in a random order. So the second thing that was very different in England is that I went to the dentist in England, and it's a NHS dentist. And because I didn't know how things work and what is available to me, what you have to pay for, what you don't have to pay for, I had some fillings done. And I remember the very first filling that my NHS dentist did was black. So she did my filling, I came home and I opened my mouth just to check what it looks like, and I was expecting to see a white filling, which is what you get in Russia. All your fillings were white. Well, they were when I was there anyway, in 2001 and before that. And I found that I had a black filling in my mouth, so that was a shock to me, and I was really hoping that it would like turn white over time or something, because I've never in my life seen a black filling, but no, it stayed black. And ever since then, all the other fillings that she did were black, and I never really questioned it because I didn't really understand how it works. I just thought, well, that's kind of what they do in England, they just give you black fillings. And it's only a few years later, once I've had a few black fillings in my mouth, is when I grew up and I asked my dentist, I said, do you not do white fillings? And she said, yes, of course we do, but you have to pay for them. And I was thinking, God, you could have told me that, hey, you have an option to have a white filling if you pay for it, because I would have, of course, said, yes, I would like to pay for my white fillings. But no, she just gave me a mouthful of black fillings, which work really well, by the way. They last years and years and years, but they look awful. So I'm actually in the process of changing them back to white. Another thing that was a culture shock to me when first coming to England is the size of the plates. So I've never seen in my life such big plates. I didn't know such big plates existed. In Russia, you would usually have a little plate, I don't know, about this big, and you would have things on the table. For example, if you came to have dinner, you'd have lots of things on the table. You'd use your small plate and you'd put as much as you want on it, but here the plates are absolutely gigantic. Things might have changed now, although I go to Russia maybe once a year, once every couple of years, and I still haven't seen big plates like there are in England. Plastic bags is another thing that really surprised me. Obviously now it's different, and in England you have to pay for bags, you can't just take as many as you like. But 19 years ago, I remember I first came to the supermarket, and I just remember seeing these boxes full of plastic bags. and you could take as many as you like. That was such a shock to me. I've never seen that in my entire life, because in Russia you always had to pay for your plastic bags. Everybody would have a bag full of bags, and you would wash them, you would hang them out to dry on your washing line. That's how much you cared for your bags, and you would never see them just kind of casually on the streets or hanging off branches of trees kind of in the wind. They were precious, basically. They cost money and people would look after them, and it was such a shock to me that in England you could come to the supermarket and have as many bags as you like. Now this is a weird one. This is something that I've noticed only when I came to England, is that in Russia, back in the day, like I said, I'm talking about 19 years ago, it might have changed now. I'm talking about a small town where I used to live, but a lot of the toilets used to have a big gap, like at the bottom and kind of between the doors, so basically people walking past you could see you. And often as well, we wouldn't have a actual toilet, we would just have a hole in the floor, kind of like a toilet with just a hole in the floor. And I never thought that that was weird. And you know, this was at universities. My mom used to work in a university, and that's what their toilets were like. So I never thought of it as weird until I came to England, because here it's nice and private, which is good. You don't want to be on display when you're doing your thing. Another thing that I found was a bit quite different to Russia is basically that homes in England are kind of the same. You can literally go down the street and every single house will be exactly the same. Which is really strange to me, because in Russia usually homes are somewhat different. The fences will be different, the heights will be different, mainly because a lot of people in Russia actually build their own houses. I know it's quite difficult in England to do that, because first of all, land is extremely expensive in England. Secondly, Britain is a small island and Russia is absolutely humongous, so you can have more space and it's easier to build in Russia, and that's what people do. So people make their home their own, they make them their own style, their own character. So when you go down the street, you'll see lots of different homes that have different materials, different heights, different everything. It's kind of interesting to kind of have a look and nose around, see what houses people have, even though they usually build really tall fences, so it's quite hard to see beyond. People are quite private in Russia, so it'd be very rare that you would see a fence like in England where it's so short, like comes up to your chest or your belly button. In Russia usually the fences are about 2 meters tall. And then the next thing, speaking of homes again, is that what's different in Russia is that I lived in a terraced house. So in England it would be called terraced house. It was 3 kind of homes stuck together and we were in the middle. But the thing is, in Russia, if it's a building, one solid building that's divided into houses, we would call them flats. So we actually lived in a building number 104, flat 2. So our house, even though it had a front garden, back garden, it's a flat. And in England it's a house, which I found quite strange first coming here, because to me I was like, well, it's flats, but no, it's houses in England. So that was quite different. Again, I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's facts, and that's how it is and that's how it was. I'm not sure if now in Russia they started building more kind of the same-ish houses, you know, like house, the same. I've not seen anything like that as yet. That may be enough for today. I've covered a few sort of random little pockets of information in no particular order, in no chronological order. It's just some of the things that came to my head straight away, but I literally have hundreds and thousands of things which are different between Russia and England. And if you're interested, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below in the comments, let me know what you would like to see next. But if you'd like to see another video like this, I will be more than happy to do it. So make sure to subscribe to my channel. I put new videos every week and I hope to see you guys next week. Bye!